All right, y'all, we are getting closer to the start of a new NFL season. So many players have so much to prove this season. This is my top 5 players with the most to prove this upcoming season. At number 5, Trevon Diggs of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here is why. Trevon Diggs has had a 10-interception season. Many have argued he's the best cornerback in the league, but he's polarizing because if you talk to some defensive coordinators, they'll tell you, he gets beat way too much. This is the most interesting thing. For Diggs, he was not a first-round pick. There is no fifth-year option to pick up. This is the year that he needs to become a $100 million player. But how can he do that? By balling out. That's a lot to prove. At number 4, a person I know all too well, reps my alma mater, Bijan Robinson. Now you're thinking to yourself, Acho, how the heck does a rookie have a lot to prove? Bijan Robinson has the weight of the running back world on his shoulders. Y'all realize he's going to make more this year in cash than any running back in the National Football League, and he doesn't have one NFL scrimmage yard to his name. He has to prove that he should have been taken in the top 10. I, of course, think he will. At number 3, Justin Herbert. Everybody has told me that he is a god, a football immortal man, but he has no playoff wins. Where'd they do that at? 3 years, no playoff wins? Prove to me, prove to the world that you are as good as they say you are. Baker Mayfield had a playoff win through 3 years. Deshaun Watson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, the list goes on and on and on. It's time for Herbert to join that list. At number 2, Tua Tagovailoa. Now, the Dolphins only won 1 game without Tua. It was against the Jets. The Joe Flacco-led Jets. Tua has to stay healthy and has to prove he can power up the ultra-dynamic offense of the Miami Dolphins. And at number 1, it is where my eyes will be the entirety of the season, the man Justin Fields for the Chicago Bears. They've given him all the help you can ask for. DJ Moore, they traded for him. They foregone, however you say that word in the past tense, they forewent the first overall pick to support him. So Justin Fields has to prove to me that he's not feast or famine, that he is simply feast. And I actually need an iPad to show y'all exactly what I mean. If y'all recall, against the Detroit Lions, Justin Fields, it's 2nd and 18. I need to just simply win the game. Look, 2nd and 18. You're already up by 7. Just run the play out, run the clock out, throw the ball away. But what happens? You throw a pick 6 to Jeff Okudah. Okay, that is famine. That's the Justin Fields that I don't want to see. But you fast forward to the very next drive. Now, this is feast. This is what I need to see from Justin Fields all season long. This is what he's capable of, y'all. That's 60-plus yards to the crib. I want to see that exclusively from Justin Fields this year. What else I want to see? James Jones, your list, big dog.
Hold on, I want to keep it right here first because I got a little bone to pick with you with this number 1 right here.
Talk to me.
Justin Fields has not shown you he is a superstar in the National Football League. He ain't showed you. You need to see more.
I must see more.
So is it on Justin Fields or is it on the organization, right? Because you showed a turnover, but if he didn't make a play last year for his football team, they wasn't going to win no games, correct?
That's true.
So for me, this is more on the organization. You know you have a superstar quarterback. Put what you need around your superstar quarterback. Yes, you got some nice pieces this year, but you still need some more pieces to get to where you're trying to go.
But here's the issue that I have. At the point in which you trade for Claypool at the end of last year, that is Chase Claypool.
What do you do?
You traded for him. He did absolutely nothing. He did absolutely nothing.
Okay.
But he is 6'4", 220 pounds, and he's had an 800-plus yard season with the Steelers. Darnell Mooney has had a 1,000-yard season. DJ Moore's had multiple 1,000-yard seasons with the Panthers. They drafted 2 running backs this year in the NFL draft, Roschon Johnson and a running back out of UCLA, if I'm not mistaken. They are trying. Now Fields needs to try as well.
Justin Fields, 12 touchdowns. Last 6-7 games of the season, right? 17 on the year. More than a lot of these quarterbacks I think is good. 7 in the league. Let me say it again. 7th in the league in rushing. 7th in the league in rushing. That's including the running backs. This dude's a superstar. They doing the right thing by him. He should be number 1. He should be down there a little bit
your
more.
list. You got yours.
But my list, I'm going to talk to you. My list, starting right here. Number 5, I have OBJ. Odell Beckham Jr., right? You go into the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Action Jackson. We all know I'm a fan of Lamar Action Jackson, but everybody think, can he throw the ball like that? Can he spin it to his receivers? It's a lot of receivers. If Odell Beckham Jr. does not go out there and make Lamar Jackson better, look like the OBJ that was in the Super Bowl before he got hurt, and have a big-time season, he is not going to see another contract, and his team probably ain't going to be that good on the offensive side of the ball.
Derek Carr at 4 surprising.
My brother from another mother, Derek Carr. Listen, you come from the Las Vegas Raiders and the Oakland Raiders, right? You don't have a playoff win. You're going to a really good football team with a bunch of playmakers around you. Go get Michael Thomas back in there. You're getting back with your former offensive coordinator, Dennis Allen. Tom Brady out of the division. The NFC ain't that strong. It is time right now, DC, Derek Carr, to go out here and show the world the Las Vegas Raiders was tripping.
Okay, I understand Russell Wilson, but at 3 as opposed to 1?
No. Russ is at 3, right? Russ is at 3. Only reason why he's at 3 is because I'm a believer in Sean Payton, right? So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that Sean Payton is going to get you into really good situations like Dayball does and like he did with Drew Brees. He's going to get him into really good situations, and Russ is going to do what he did in Seattle.
Let's hope.
1 or 2 ain't there. Run and create. Quit trying to be special, stand in the pocket, do all this. That's not your style to play. So he will get help by Sean Payton. But if he doesn't and they lose, this might be the last year Russ and Denver
Broncos. What does Dak have to prove?
Well, we all talk 24/7 on this show. The reason why they got kicked out of the playoffs because of who?
Dak Prescott.
Reason why they ain't go as far as they could have went because of who?
Dak Prescott.
Turned the ball over too many times last year.
That's true.
Dak Prescott, right? They finding other people to put it on. Even me. Put it on Kellen Moore. Get him out of here. I'm a believer in Mike McCarthy. Mike gonna make it easier on him. If he don't go out there and deliver this year with a top 5 defense, we just gave you Brandon Cooks. We put Gilmore over there for you. If you don't show up this year and take the Dallas Cowboys to where the Dallas Cowboys are supposed to go, you in trouble.
Did you put number 1 up there, or did Joy do that? Was that one of those like borrowing homework assignment type deals, or like how did Daniel Jones wind up as the number 1 player?
Look at my face, America. Look at my face. You see the smile on my face, right? This one right here makes me happy. Not saying I'm wishing on his downfall. I absolutely am not wishing on his downfall. I want everybody in the National Football League to ball, right? I played in there. I want everybody to get their money to ball. More money, more problems.
What they say.
Right? It's all good when you a first-round pick and everybody like, oh, let's let him grow. Let's let him do this. He's still learning. Well, you got them M's now. And them M's is tagged to the back of your name right now. You walking around New York, your pants sagging a little bit because your pockets is heavy, right?
No, Daniel Jones' pants still probably.
If he does not perform, they are going to be calling for his head. And not only that, you paid him, and it's a dude out there at the crib right now that might not show up to training camp. And even the best player on your team since day 1, he stepped in the building. Daniel Jones, everybody's saying, Brian, Coach Dayball is that and this and that. They believed in you. You better pay it off.
You better pay it off. Joy, I am still not convinced that you did not put that name up there. Regardless of what James says, I'm not convinced. But, Joy, expound on the player that you believe has the most to prove this season.
I didn't put him up there because my player that I think has the most to prove this season is Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
What is Saquon trying to get right now?
He's trying to get some money.
What kind of money? Guaranteed money.
Yes.
Guaranteed money. We still haven't heard about Burrow or Herbert's contract. Now, they're doing it quietly and privately, but maybe Deshaun's contract is holding up those contracts as well. What did you say earlier? The quarterback position is the one that resets the market every time a guy is up. It's what held up Lamar Jackson's contract. $230 million guaranteed. Is a lot of guaranteed money. I don't care that he doesn't make the most out of any quarterback this year. $230 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not a huge fan of Baker Mayfield's skill sets, but he did win a playoff game. And beat a division rival in doing so with the Browns. So you moved off of a guy that you had you picked as a number 1 overall pick in Baker Mayfield that you had some success with, and went all in, $230 million all in on Deshaun Watson. Now, last year we know it wasn't successful, but we all know why. So we can judge that on a curve. That's done. You've had a whole offseason. You have a coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski. And we don't talk a lot about the Browns roster because they've been kind of out of sight, out of mind. But it's a talented roster. So in my opinion, Deshaun Watson has the most to prove.
Yeah, I'm not going to dispute any of the picks, although I would say, well, actually one. I'm not going to put it on Odell Beckham Jr. to make Lamar Jackson Lamar Jackson again. I'm going to put it on Lamar Jackson to make Odell Beckham.
But Odell got pressure because if he don't ball, he's on a one-year deal. If you don't ball, you're looking at bouncing around, and you're not really going to get another payday.
I get that pressure, but Lamar Jackson's being paid as the highest-paid quarterback in the league, and stood up and said, "I should be," and as a 2019 MVP. Like, to me, he's got to prove that he can get back to that. But I'm going to go a place that I don't think any of you thought of. I'm going to go quarterback, but I'm going to go to the draft. I'm going to go to Bryce Young.
Really?
Yes, because number one, and maybe I'm conscious of this because I just watched Victor Wembanyama in the NBA draft, and the number one pick always has a tremendous amount of pressure. They're expected to be a franchise changer, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes they may just be the best player in that draft, or sometimes they may not be up to the pressure that comes with being the number one pick, because it's a lot different than number two.
Yeah.
He was also one of 3 quarterbacks taken among the first 4 picks. And I know going into the draft, there was still a lot of debate. Right? Do you take C.J. Stroud or do you take Bryce Young? The general thinking was Bryce Young is the better pick, but C.J. Stroud is the safer pick. You feel like you got to, just because of the measurables, you know what you're going to get. Carolina Panthers went and got Adam Thielen for him. They are in the easier conference, I would say. He's got head coach Frank Reich, who among the guys, with the other 2 guys have first-year head coaches. Like, everything is set up for Bryce to succeed. And now, can you just imagine, like, if CJ ends up being better, Bryce comes in having to prove he's the best quarterback in this class, and we have seen that does not always happen with the number one pick.
What's a successful season for Bryce Young, in your opinion?
Better than C.J. Stroud. I mean, I hate to minimize it,
that simple.
but you just look at it
So
and
the
say,
Houston Texans win 2 games, but C.J. Stroud looks like, oh, shoot, he a superstar, and Bryce Young wins 6 or 7. You saying
no,
that's not...
No. You went to team success. I'm just saying that we look at it and go, the Carolina Panthers got it right. So Bryce Young looks like the better quarterback. And because I think he has more things in his favor. Like, I think it's set up for him to succeed more easily.
They weren't a traditional number 1 overall pick. Like, they
Exactly. That team is much more positioned for success than the Houston Texans.
He's on to something, because if you think about it historically, 2012 was my draft class, Jay. That was the draft class of Andrew Luck went number 1, RG3 went number 2. RG3 won Rookie of the Year, but Andrew Luck was Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck was the man. You think about the year that Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota went 1 and 2. Heavy scrutinization. Jared Goff, Carson Wentz. I watched that one closely. And if y'all recall, in that same draft class, Dak Prescott goes in the 4th round. Whenever there are peers, I don't know why I skipped this one. Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round. Like, whenever you are taken right before a guy, right before some guys, you just have to prove that you should have been taken there. Because Joy knows this all too well. Chargers fans saying, we got it right and y'all got it wrong. Y'all stuck with Tua. But nobody is sitting here questioning what Joe Burrow did and the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, oh, y'all got it right. y'all made the right decision. So you make a very good point.
So my thing is what if C.J. Stroud doesn't look better than my man at the Colts?
Anthony Richardson?
Anthony Richardson.
Then I think that would be a grave mistake.
But we just talked about team, right? He ain't really got a solid team around him.
It's really a little too early rookie year to evaluate all of them. But I would agree with, like, the number 1 overall pick gets evaluated in the rookie
But evaluations will be made rookie year.
They will, but panic won't set in for the picks that aren't the number 1 overall pick. If he doesn't look good or competent as the number 1 overall pick, that's more worrisome than anyone after that.
I agree with Slick a little bit. I don't think he has to play better than CJ, but it needs to look the right way. He needs to look like he has command of this. He needs to look like, oh, shoot, coming into year 2, he needs to look like that.
You know, the other thing that's interesting is you can't play into people's initial worries of you. Bryce Young better not have a whole bunch of balls tipped. Because remember what everybody said. He's short. Can't see over the line of scrimmage. He better not throw a bunch of picks because he couldn't see in the windows of the offensive linemen. Because that's really what I'm more worried about. Like, if Bryce Young has some sort of arbitrary issue, that's one thing. But if he gets hurt, we all had fears he might get hurt because he's too small. Final thoughts.
Let me put it to you guys. Would you be surprised if C.J. Stroud has a better year or demonstrates that he's actually a better and more effective NFL quarterback?
I personally would, because I look at history of systems. I look at history of schemes. I love C.J. Stroud. I love his team around him. I love his representation. I love all that. But call me crazy. I look at Ohio State quarterbacks, and I say to myself, man, Ohio State quarterbacks, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the institution, I don't know if it's the scheme, I don't know if the receivers are just so much better than everybody else's, that those Ohio State quarterbacks are so highly rated, then you get into the league and you don't do that much. So for me, I'm waiting for C.J. Stroud, like Justin Fields, to prove that Ohio State quarterbacks are as good as we all like. What's your answer?
I will not be surprised at all. I mean, because I still have clear memory of watching him play Georgia. And he made play.
He did.
After play.
He did.
After play. Not just with his arm, but with his legs. So he's going to need a lot of that this year. He's going to be on the run. He's going to have to create and make some plays. So I think we will be looking at this at the end of the season like, oh, CJ might be better, just because of how the play is going to look and how he's going to have to be for his team.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.